"You're not authorized to make changes to this account, ma'am." That's what the bank teller said, in front of everyone, as if Dorothy Harrison wasn't even standing there. She was 74 years old. She had raised 3 children. She had buried a husband. She had paid every bill on that house for 43 years. But in that small-town bank in Millbrook, Vermont, in the middle of an ordinary Tuesday afternoon, she discovered she could no longer make decisions about her own life. And the worst part? The person who had done this to her was standing right beside her, smiling. His wife was smiling too. I'm glad you're here with me. Please like this video and listen to my story till the end. Let me know which city you're listening from. That way, I can see how far my story has traveled. The First National Bank of Millbrook had been on Main Street for as long as anyone can remember. It sat between the pharmacy and the hardware store, across from the diner where half the town had breakfast. The kind of place where everyone knew your name, and nobody asked too many questions. Dorothy Harrison, most folks called her Dot, walked in that morning with her eldest son David and his wife Vanessa. David walked half a step ahead, like someone who already knew the way. Vanessa stayed close to him, her hand resting on his arm in a way that looked supportive, but felt like steering. Dorothy carried a thin folder, too organized for someone who, according to them, had been getting confused lately. The request was simple: review some paperwork connected to the house where she had lived for 43 years. When she spoke to the teller, she explained calmly. She didn't get confused. She didn't ask for help. She used the right words. The teller, a young woman Dorothy didn't recognize, typed something, paused, changed her tone. "You're not authorized to make changes to this account, ma'am." Before Dorothy could ask why, David stepped in. "We've already discussed this, haven't we? She signed a power of attorney years ago. Since then, I handle everything, including the payments." He said it too naturally, like he was explaining the obvious to a stranger. "It's really for the best, Dorothy. David handles all our finances too. It's just easier this way." The teller confirmed on the screen. Durable power of attorney on file. Authority over financial transactions, contracts, and property decisions. Property decisions. Dorothy felt the weight of those words settle in her chest. She remembered the day she signed that paper. 2 weeks after Robert's funeral. The house still smelled like the flowers people had brought. David had sat across from her at the kitchen table, pen in hand. "It's just to make things easier, Mom. You don't have to worry about anything." She believed him. Not because she was naive, because she was too tired to doubt. She tried to explain that she had never authorized anything permanent, that she would never sell the house, that she just wanted to review things. "Mom, that house is a money pit. Taxes, maintenance, everything. The way things are now, at least it brings in some income." It was the first time anyone had said that in front of her. Income. From her house. The teller printed a summary statement. The house had been rented out for 7 months. The money went into an account managed by David. $1,800 a month. $12,600. She didn't know. A woman behind her in line watched the scene in silence. Linda Pearson. They'd been neighbors since they were both young brides new to Maple Street. 46 years of borrowed sugar. Shared grief. Unspoken understanding. David saw David speak for his mother. She saw Vanessa's hand tighten on his arm when Dorothy tried to interrupt. She saw the teller look at David for confirmation, not at Dorothy. When Dorothy passed her on the way out, Linda touched her arm and said quietly, "He's not you, Dot. Never was." Dorothy didn't respond. But she remembered. Outside, David tried to smooth things over. "It's better this way. The money helps everyone. You don't even notice it's gone." She walked a few steps without answering. Vanessa got into the car first. She didn't look back. In that moment, the situation became clear. Dorothy hadn't just lost the right to decide. They were making money off it. And it hadn't started that day. In the days that followed, the routine stayed too normal for someone who had lost something important. Dorothy kept waking up early. She made coffee with the same care. She sat at the small kitchen table and planned her day in her head. But as the hours passed, small interruptions started to appear. An appointment written down twice. A bill paid on the wrong date. The name of an old acquaintance that took too long to surface. Things anyone would explain away as distraction. David didn't. He started calling more often. He didn't ask if she was okay. He asked if she remembered doing certain things. He confirmed times she had written down herself. He corrected small details, always in a patient tone. "It's normal, Mom. Everyone forgets things sometimes." But he wrote everything down. She noticed it one afternoon when he mentioned something she didn't remember telling him. Something about the bedroom drawer, about where she kept old documents. She didn't argue. She just registered the fact. He was watching. The pressure didn't come as fighting. It came as excessive care. Suggestions, adjustments, preventive decisions. And then her other son arrived. Peter was the middle child. He lived 2 hours away in Burlington with his husband Carl. They rarely visited. When they did, it was always for something specific. This time, they came unannounced. "We were just passing through, thought we'd check in." Carl walked through the house slowly. He looked at the walls like he was measuring them. He opened a closet. He checked the bathroom faucet. "This place needs work, Dorothy. The foundation alone could be $100,000 to fix." She hadn't asked for an inspection. Peter sat down across from her in the living room. He spoke softly, the way people do when they've rehearsed something. "Mom, David told us what happened at the bank. We're worried about you. We all are." "All of you? When was the last time you called?" Peter didn't answer. Carl came back into the room with his phone out. He'd been taking pictures. She understood then this wasn't a visit. It was reconnaissance. She started hiding things. Not from paranoia, from necessity. she began walking less. Not from pain, from caution. She started writing everything in a simple notebook. Times, phone calls, decisions. An old habit revived. At the grocery store on the corner, Walter, who had known Dorothy since she used to buy milk for small children, noticed something different. "You've been quieter lately, Mrs. Harrison. Everything all right at home?" She smiled, changed the subject. But he pressed on. "Your son came by last week asking if you'd been shopping right. Thought it was strange. He'd never done that before." She thanked him, paid for her groceries. "And the other one, too, the one from Burlington. He was asking about your house, about the neighborhood, about what places like yours are selling for these days." She left with a heavy heart. The walls were closing in from directions she hadn't imagined. The doctor's visit didn't come as an emergency. It came as a consequence. She decided to see the doctor after a simple incident. She forgot a pot on the stove too long. Nothing happened, but the smell lingered. And so did the scare. In the office, she described the episodes without drama. The doctor listened, asked direct questions, ordered tests. The results came 3 weeks later. Degenerative neurological disease. Early stage. Progressive. Slow. It didn't take her clarity in that moment, but it placed an invisible deadline on her future autonomy. The doctor was direct. "Today, you can decide. In the future, other people may challenge that." She understood immediately. She left the office without calling David. She remembered Robert in his final months. How the cancer had hollowed him out slowly, taking pieces of who he was with each passing week. How David had started making the decisions for him, too. Which doctors to see. Which treatments to try. What to tell people. How no one asked Robert anything anymore. She remembered one afternoon, 3 weeks before the end. She walked into his hospital room and found David standing over the bed. A pen in Robert's trembling hand. Just some insurance stuff, routine paperwork. Robert's eyes had found hers across the room. He didn't speak, but something in his face looked like an apology or a warning. The same thing wasn't going to happen to her. At home, she went to the living room bookshelf. Third shelf behind the books no one read anymore. She pulled out a heavy volume, an old encyclopedia, a gift from Robert on their first wedding anniversary. Volume 7, M through P. She opened it to page 412. Between the yellowed pages, an envelope. Inside it, a typed document. She had kept that paper for over 15 years. It had been prepared by a lawyer friend of Robert's before he got sick. A preemptive revocation of any future power of attorney, valid upon presentation. At the time, she didn't know if she would ever need it. Now she knew. She read every line with renewed attention. The language was direct, no ambiguities. That paper gave her back the control that was already being used against her. It wasn't a weapon, it was a choice. But as she closed the book, she noticed something she hadn't seen before. On the inside of the back cover, taped flat against the binding, a second envelope, smaller, sealed. Robert's handwriting on the front. Only open if you need me. Her hands trembled. She didn't open it. Not yet. She wasn't sure she was ready to hear what he had to say. She started acting quietly. She went to a lawyer's office in the next county, Montpelier, 40 minutes by bus. Nobody knew her there. She spoke with an attorney named Graham Pierce, a man in his 60s with gray hair and a calm voice who treated her like any other client. "Mrs. Harrison, what you're describing is textbook financial abuse. We see it more often than people think." She updated records. She revoked authorizations. She established clear, documented limits. None of this made immediate noise. The first sign of impact came when David tried to make a transaction in her name, and couldn't. He called, irritated. "Did you do something? The system's blocked." "I did." She didn't explain anything else. Silence on the other end. "Mom, we need to talk about this. You don't understand what you're doing." "I understand perfectly." She hung up before he could respond. A former student stopped by one afternoon to return a book he'd borrowed years before. Marcus Cole. She had taught him English in 1987. He was 53 now, a contractor who had stayed in Millbrook all his life. He'd always remembered her as the teacher who believed in him when no one else did. "I was cleaning out my parents' place and found this. Figured you'd want it back." It was a copy of To Kill a Mockingbird, the same edition she had given him 36 years ago. They talked briefly. He noticed something was different, but didn't ask directly. "You seem tired, Mrs. Harrison. Everything okay?" She almost told him everything, but she stopped herself. Not yet. Before leaving, he just said, "If you ever need anything, give me a call. Anything at all. I mean it." She wrote his number in her notebook. Gradually, the town started to notice. David told neighbors his mother was being difficult, that she wouldn't accept help anymore, that she was suspicious, that maybe it was her age. Some people believed him. Others remembered who she had always been. She didn't defend herself. She knew she didn't need to convince anyone right now. She just needed to buy time. The following week, the pressure changed form. David came to her house with Vanessa. They sat in the kitchen without asking. Vanessa had a folder of her own this time. "Dorothy, we've been looking at some options, assisted living facilities, very nice ones. You'd have your own space, people to help you." "I don't need help."
"Mom, you blocked my access to the accounts. That's not rational behavior. We're trying to protect you." She set her coffee cup on the table, slowly. "Protect me from what? From knowing where my own money goes? From yourself. You're not seeing things clearly anymore. We've all noticed it. All of you? When was the last time Peter called me? When was the last time any of you visited without wanting something?" Vanessa's smile tightened. David's jaw clenched. He stood up. "Fine, have it your way, but don't say we didn't try to help." He left, slamming the door. Vanessa followed but paused at the threshold. She turned back, and for just a moment, the mask slipped. "You're making this harder than it needs to be, Dorothy. For everyone."
The third blow came fast. David tried to schedule a medical evaluation without telling her, a formal request to certify incapacity. He used the stove incident as evidence, the power of attorney documents, statements from Peter and Carl about concerning behavior. She got the call from the clinic before he did. The receptionist was apologetic. "Mrs. Harrison, we received a request from your son for a cognitive evaluation. I wanted to confirm you were aware." She wasn't aware, but she canceled it. That's when she understood. It wasn't just about money anymore. It was about narrative. If David managed to stamp the idea of incapacity into the official record, everything else would follow. The house, the savings, her freedom. The next morning, she called Marcus Cole, asked for help finding a lawyer who could move fast. She didn't explain much, just enough. "I already know someone, Graham Pierce in Montpelier. He's good and he's discreet. I'll drive you there myself." 2 days later, they sat at Graham Pierce's office in Montpelier. The lawyer read the papers without rushing. He paused at certain points, frowned. This power of attorney was used beyond what it should have been. The rental income from your property should have gone into an account in your name. It didn't. He turned another page. "And this here, using your property as collateral for personal debts, this should never have been done without your current explicit consent." Personal debts. Dorothy's hands went cold. How much? $35,000 secured against your house, without your signature. She sat in silence for a long moment. $35,000. Her house, her 43 years in that house. "If you want, we can freeze everything now, block any future transactions, file a formal complaint. But I have to warn you, there will be a reaction. There already is." She signed the documents needed to block any future transactions without her physical presence. When David found out, he screamed for the first time. She listened until he finished. When he was done, she said only, "Don't do that again." She hung up. 3 days later, the humiliation went public. Helen Marsh from the Thursday Book Club called her at 7 in the morning. Her voice was strange. "Dot, honey, have you seen what David posted?" Dorothy didn't use Facebook. She barely used the computer at all. But Helen read it to her. "Please keep my mother Dorothy Harrison in your thoughts. She's been showing signs of confusion and memory loss and has been making decisions that put her safety at risk. We're doing everything we can to help her, but she's refusing treatment. If you see her, please be patient. We love her, but she's not the same person she used to be. This is what dementia looks like. It's heartbreaking." 73 people had liked it, 42 comments. "So sorry, David. Praying for your family. You're such a good son. This must be so hard for you." Vanessa had shared it with her own caption. "Family is everything, even when it hurts, supporting my husband through this difficult time with his mother." 34 years of teaching in that town, 3 decades of respect, of building something, gone in one post. Dorothy sat alone in her kitchen for hours. She didn't cry, she didn't call anyone, she just sat. The doorbell rang at 3 in the afternoon. Linda Pearson stood on the porch with an orange pound cake and a look that said she wasn't leaving. "I saw what he wrote, and I'm not here to ask if you're okay because I know you're not." She came in without waiting for an invitation. They sat in the kitchen. Linda made coffee. She cut the cake. She didn't speak for a while. Finally, "He's been talking bad about you to everyone, Dot, saying you're losing your mind, saying you're dangerous to yourself." "I know. You going to let him?" Dorothy looked out the window. The same street as always, the same houses, the same late afternoon sun. "He thinks I'm going to die silent like Robert did." She turned back. "But I won't." That night, alone in the house, Dorothy went back to the bookshelf. She pulled out the encyclopedia, opened it to the back cover. The second envelope was still there. Robert's handwriting. "Only open if you need me." Her hands trembled as she broke the seal. Inside, 3 pages, handwritten, dated 2 months before he died. "Dorothy, if you're reading this, then I was right, and I'm sorry I couldn't stop it while I was there. I've watched David for years. I know what he is. I know what he's capable of. I should have said something sooner, but I kept hoping he would change. That's my failure, not yours." She remembered the arguments Robert and David used to have, how they stopped suddenly 2 years before Robert got sick, how David started being helpful after that, how Robert never explained why. "He has a gambling problem. He's had it since college. He hid it well, but I found out. I confronted him. He promised to stop. He didn't. The debts started small, then they grew. He borrowed from the wrong people. He's been trying to dig himself out ever since. When I got sick, he came to me in the hospital, 3 days before the end. He had papers. He said it was routine. I couldn't fight him, Dot. I didn't have the strength. I put a pen in my hand and I signed. I don't even know what I signed, but I saw his face when I did, and I knew." She remembered walking into that hospital room, David standing over the bed, the pen, Robert's eyes finding hers, the apology, the warning. She hadn't understood. Until now. "I'm writing this because I may not get another chance. The first envelope has the revocation document. Use it when you need to. But there's something else, something I should have told you years ago. Rachel called me 2 months before I got sick. She's clean. She's been clean for 15 years. She wanted to come home. She wanted to see you. She said she'd been waiting for permission. I told her to wait a little longer. I was going to fix things first, bring the family back together. I never got the chance. Her number is on the back of this letter. She never stopped loving you, Dot. She was just waiting. I'm sorry I kept this from you. I thought I had more time. Whatever happens next, remember, you were always the strong one. You just didn't know it yet. I love you. Robert." Dorothy sat in the quiet house, the letter in her hands. Robert had known.
He had tried to protect her, and Rachel, her daughter, her youngest, the one she had lost to addiction and shame and silence, had been waiting for 15 years. She turned the letter over. A phone number in Robert's careful handwriting. A 503 area code. Oregon. Her hands were steady now. She picked up the phone.
The phone rang 4 times. Dorothy almost hung up. Then a voice. A woman's voice. Careful, uncertain. Hello? 25 years collapsed into a single breath. Rachel? It's Mom. Silence on the other end. For a long moment, nothing. Then a sound. Something between a laugh and a sob. Mom? Is it really? I found your father's letter. I should have called years ago. I didn't know, Rachel. I didn't know you wanted to come home. I've been waiting. Every day. I thought you didn't want me back. After everything I did. I always wanted you back. I just didn't know how to find you. They talked for 2 hours. Rachel told her everything. The years of addiction, the recovery, the 15 years of building a new life in Portland, a job as a counselor at a treatment center, a small apartment with a garden, a life she'd been afraid to share. Dorothy told her everything too. David, Vanessa, Peter, and Carl. The house, the money, the Facebook post. Mom, I'm coming home. Rachel, you don't have to. I've been waiting 25 years to help you. Don't tell me I don't have to. The next 2 weeks changed everything. Rachel flew in from Portland. She stayed at the house. For the first time in a quarter century, mother and daughter woke up in the same place. But they weren't alone. Helen from the book club organized what she called a kitchen cabinet. Every Thursday evening, the women gathered at Dorothy's house instead of their usual rotation. We're not letting David control the story. That's not how this works. Susan, the retired librarian, started documenting everything. Every post, every comment, every date. Patricia, who had worked at the county clerk's office for 30 years, knew exactly which records to request and how to read them. Marcus Cole came by twice a week. He fixed the loose step on the porch. He installed new locks on the doors. He never asked for anything in return. You believed in me when I was 17 and nobody else did. This is what I can do. Dorothy watched them come and go. People she had known for decades. People she had taught. People who had become something more than neighbors. She realized something she hadn't understood before. Family isn't always blood. Sometimes family is Helen showing up with soup, Susan texting to check in, Patricia bringing flowers for no reason,
Marcus fixing things that needed fixing. Sometimes family is a daughter who waited 25 years to permission to come home.
The knock on the door came on a Saturday morning. Dorothy expected Linda or Helen. Instead, she found a young man, 19 years old, tall, dark hair like his father, but something different in his eyes. "Grandma? It's Ethan, Dad's son. I don't know if you remember me." She remembered. The last time she had seen him, he was 12 years old, before Vanessa, before everything changed. "I remember you, Ethan. Come in." He sat at the kitchen table. Rachel was there. She watched him with careful eyes. Ethan's hands were shaking. "I saw what Dad posted, and I didn't know any of this was happening. He never tells me anything. Vanessa never lets me." He stopped, took a breath. "I heard them talking last night, Dad and Vanessa. They were talking about the house, about how much it would be worth if they sold it, about the gambling debts, about the people he owes." Dorothy's face didn't change. "What did they say exactly?" "Dad said something about $140,000, that he owes people, bad people, that your house is the only way out. Vanessa said they just needed to wait for the court to declare you incapable, then they'd have control of everything." $140,000. Gambling debts. The truth, finally, from the mouth of a boy who chose his grandmother over his father. Rachel leaned forward. "Ethan, would you be willing to tell that to a lawyer?" Ethan looked at her, then at Dorothy. "I'll tell whoever needs to hear it." Graham Pierce sat at the head of the table in his Montpelier office. Around him, Dorothy, Rachel, Ethan, Marcus, and two paralegals with laptops open. The folder in front of him was thick. "Here's what we have. Unauthorized use of power of attorney, property used as collateral without consent, rental income diverted to personal accounts, attempted medical evaluation without the subject's knowledge, public defamation via social media." He looked up. "And now, testimony from a family member about gambling debts totaling $140,000 and clear intent to have you declared incapable to gain control of your assets." Dorothy Harrison sat very still. Press charges against her own son? Rachel reached over and took her hand. "Mom, whatever you decide, I'm here." Dorothy looked at the folder, at the documents, at the evidence of what her son had become. Then she looked at Ethan, at Rachel, at Marcus, at the family she had found, the family that had found her. "I don't want him in prison. I want him to stop." Graham nodded. "Then we do this publicly. The church meeting he requested. We show up, we present everything. Let the town see the truth. And if he doesn't stop after that, then we file charges. But we give him one chance to walk away." Dorothy was quiet for a long moment. "One chance. That's more than he gave me." A letter had arrived by certified mail the week before. David was requesting a family meeting to address urgent matters regarding Dorothy Harrison's well-being. The location wasn't her house. It was the parish hall of the Methodist Church, where everyone knew each other and nobody raised their voice. She went. The room was full. Cousins, uncles, neighbors invited as witnesses. Pastor Williams in the corner, uncomfortable. David at the front table, next to a lawyer in a dark suit. Vanessa beside him, dressed like she was attending a charity gala. Peter and Carl in the front row, arms crossed. Dorothy walked in with Rachel on one side and Ethan on the other. The room went silent. David's face changed. He hadn't expected Rachel. He certainly hadn't expected his own son. Dorothy walked to the front. She sat in the first row, purse in her lap. David spoke first. He said he was worried about Dorothy's health, that there were clear signs of confusion, that her recent decisions had been rash and dangerous, that he only wanted to protect her. She doesn't know what she's doing anymore, and outsiders are taking advantage of her, people who don't have her best interests at heart. He looked directly at Rachel. People who abandoned this family years ago and now suddenly show up when there's money involved. Rachel didn't flinch. A few heads nodded in the crowd. The narrative David had been building for months. When he finished, they waited for Dorothy to respond. She stood up slowly, walked to the front table, opened her purse. She pulled out a folder, placed it on the table. She didn't speak loudly. She didn't make a speech. She just said, "Read." David's lawyer opened the folder. Inside, bank statements showing the rental income diverted to David's personal account, the collateral documents signed without Dorothy's knowledge, the medical evaluation request, screenshots of the Facebook post time-stamped, and something no one expected, a sworn statement from Ethan Harrison, David's own son, describing the conversation he had overheard about gambling debts totaling $140,000. The room was silent. David's lawyer asked for a few minutes to read. The silence shifted sides. Linda Pearson, sitting in the back, crossed her arms and smiled slightly. Walter, who had come just to see, shook his head slowly. Pastor Williams looked at David with new eyes. When the lawyer finished reading, he leaned over and whispered something to David. David's face went pale. This changes things. David tried to speak, tried to explain, tried to say it was temporary, that he was going to pay it back, that nobody understood the pressure he was under. Nobody listened. Vanessa stood up suddenly. "This is ridiculous. She's clearly been manipulated. That woman," she pointed at Rachel, "shows up after 25 years and suddenly everything is her fault? And you're going to believe a 19-year-old over his own father?" Ethan stood up. "I know what I heard, Vanessa. I know what you said. You said Grandma would be easier to manage once she was declared incompetent. You said the house would sell for $650,000 and that would solve everything." The room erupted in whispers. $650,000? The truth was finally in the open. Dorothy raised her hand. The room went quiet. She walked to the front, faced her son. 40 years I stayed quiet, thinking silence was respect, thinking family handled things at home, thinking one day you'd treat me the way I treated you. She paused. I raised you. I fed you. I paid for your college. I co-signed your first apartment. When you couldn't make rent, I made it for you. When your business failed, I gave you the money to start again. $47 at the time when that's all I had. $18,000 when your wife wanted a bigger kitchen. David's face was red. I never asked for anything back.
I never expected anything back. But I didn't expect this either. She held up the folder. You took my house without telling me. You took my savings without asking me. You tried to have me declared incompetent so you could take everything else. She put the folder down. And when I tried to stop you, you told the whole town I was crazy. She looked at him for a long moment. I'm not crazy, David. I'm your mother. And I'm done being silent. She turned to the room. I'm not pressing charges today. But the documents are filed. The records are sealed. If he tries anything else, if he comes near my house, my accounts, my medical decisions, the charges will be filed automatically. She looked back at David. One chance. That's more than you gave me. She picked up her purse. This meeting is over. In the weeks that followed, the consequences came one by one. The rental contract was terminated. The tenants moved out. Dorothy's house was hers again. The account managed by David was frozen. The $35,000 in collateral was flagged for dispute. Graham Pierce filed the paperwork for full restitution. David tried to rebuild his version. He told people his mother had been manipulated by outsiders, that Rachel had brainwashed her, that Ethan was going through a rebellious phase. Some believed him. Fewer than before. Most people remembered what they had seen in that church hall. Dorothy standing at the front, folder in hand, speaking clearly, calmly, without confusion. Not a woman losing her mind, a woman taking it back. Vanessa filed for divorce 3 weeks later. The gambling debts, she said, were more than she had known. She moved back to Connecticut. She didn't say goodbye. Peter and Carl stopped calling. They didn't come to the house. They didn't send messages. They simply disappeared, the way people do when there's nothing left to take. David moved to New Hampshire. A fresh start, he called it. He didn't leave a forwarding address. Ethan stayed. The new routine was quieter than the old one, but it was hers. Dorothy woke up every morning at 7. She made coffee with the same care. She sat at the kitchen table and planned her day in her head. But now there were voices in the house again. Rachel had moved into the guest room. She was working remotely for the treatment center in Portland, running virtual counseling sessions 3 days a week. The rest of the time, she was there, present, making up for lost years in small ways. Ethan came by every weekend. He was studying social work at the community college in Burlington. He said his grandmother had taught him what family really meant. The Thursday book club met at Dorothy's house now. Helen, Susan, Patricia, and 3 new members who heard the story and wanted to be part of something real. Marcus Cole had fixed everything that needed fixing. Then he kept coming by anyway, for coffee, for conversation, for the simple pleasure of being around someone who believed in him when he was 17.
The diagnosis was still there. It hadn't disappeared. Some days were slower, others clearer. She knew that wouldn't change. That's exactly why she had fought so hard. On a sunny afternoon in late spring, Dorothy sat on the porch with the old encyclopedia in her hands. She opened it to page 412. The space where the revocation document had been kept for 15 years was empty. She had used it. She opened the back cover. The space where Robert's letter had been was empty too. She had read it. She had acted on it. She had found Rachel. She closed the book. Rachel came out with 2 cups of tea. She sat in the chair next to her mother. "What are you thinking about?" Dorothy looked at the street. The same houses, the same trees, the same late afternoon sun. "I was thinking about your father, about how he tried to protect me even from the grave." Rachel was quiet for a moment. "Do you think he knew that you'd find the letter?" "I think he hoped. That's all any of us can do." They sat in silence for a while. Then Rachel said, "Mom, can I ask you something?" "Anything." "Do you forgive David?" Dorothy thought about it. Really thought about it. "I don't know. Maybe someday, maybe not. But I don't need to forgive him to move on. I just need to let go." She looked at her daughter. "And I have something better to hold on to now." Rachel took her hand. They watched the sunset together. There was no victory to celebrate. There was just the simple fact that while she still could, she had chosen. And for the first time in 40 years, the silence wasn't hers. It was theirs. What would you have done in her place? Would you have fought? Would you have stayed silent? Have you faced something similar in your own family? Share your story in the comments. Tell me where you're listening from and what you're doing right now. If this story found something true in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, it's never too late to take your life back. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next story.